Hello,
Oh my
hello. Good
God.
afternoon. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday. How's your Friday going so far? We are so excited to see you here today. If you are new here, my name is Noura Masri. I'm an enrolled agent and the founder of Noura's Books. I am known as a nonprofit CFO. I'm here today on all platforms through StreamYard and then here on Instagram alone. So, Instagram people, you guys can see me, but you cannot see Brittney. If you want to see her, you can go to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you want to go, or you can stay here if you want and just listen to her. You will be able to hear her clearly. So I am here today with my partner Brittney C, and I will let her introduce herself again today.
Hi, Instagram on Nora's side. Hi, Instagram on my side. I am Brittney C. I am a grant specialist and founder of Write the Vision Plainly LLC, where I write visions and dreams to reality. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, it sounds good. You're like, oh, I want to get funded that way. You can book a call with me and we can discuss the details. But we'll get back to that later. And we're also going to talk to you guys about our event, Available Money Now Mastermind. But I'm gonna just jump into today's topic because I know I get like a lot of questions. Like so far, a lot of you guys are like, "Hot quarter, what's that?" I don't know of hot quarter. Like, what do you mean? And so, um, this is also right on time with virtual available money now mastermind. But what it is, and I'm just gonna dive right in, not to like keep you guys with anticipation, but it's the first quarter of the year. So it's January through March for the non-federal giving. And so what funders, investors, and philanthropists are doing during this time is like if you heard in our previous videos what me and Nora were talking about, 30% of giving is in the month of December. Out of all the months of giving, 30% comes towards the end of the year and 10% the last 3 days in December. So that's like 40%. Am I right? So with that, the funders are trying to get rid of the old funding from there. It's, grants, if you're unfamiliar with the terminology, they're an annual thing. The majority of them are annual, some are semi-annual. But the grants that a lot of people are looking for, they're usually 1 year, 18 months, some are longer than that. And that's when you tap into the federal funding, federal giving. But right now, we're already in for federal funding the fourth quarter. So we're still in the third quarter for non-federal, but it's inching there. And so although in January, starting in January, this is just January, no other month. Um, Donor giving is actually 6%, but more funding from that is released in the month of January, February, and March because it's brand new. So, although the donors are giving 6% in January, that's good for you, the person that's applying for the grant, for your business, for your nonprofit. If you are a grant specialist or consultant like I am, it's perfect because this is the new round of giving, the start of the year giving. And so they give the most, the funders, investors, donors, philanthropists, etc. They give the most during January, February, and March on the non-federal side.
Awesome. So, are you guys ready for that? How do you get ready? Do you remember? I'm testing you today. How do you get ready for that?
Yeah, tell us how you get ready.
Yeah, how do you get ready? So basically, look at your books. Do you have bookkeeping in place? Is your
As
financial?
true. I was gonna I was actually gonna talk about it from the grant side, but go ahead with the bookkeeping. That's number one.
Because
Are you compliant, as Nora would put it? But go ahead, Nora. Go ahead.
yeah, so are you doing your bookkeeping? Because not only being compliant in that matter, you have to see your numbers. You have to see what are you spending on. You have to see what do you really need. You have to also do it ahead of time. So not only having the bookkeeping but also budgeting. If you listen to me the last, this week, I've done a live on budgeting because it's really important. You have to look ahead. You have to see what do you need. And also, when you go to get grants, you really have to have a budget for that. In that budget, you need to really have everything included. You don't want to miss anything. So, what I tell my clients, you need to map out the program, pretend that you're doing it. Act as you're doing it right now and see what do you actually need. Don't miss anything. Don't miss the driver's gonna delivery if that's something actually needed for your program. Don't miss the lighting. Don't miss anything. Don't miss the grant management people that you need in place, because actually you're going to need a lot of grant management stuff, financial narrative, a lot of a lot of requirements based on the funder, especially if you're going to the federal grants. But even with those like smaller, other grants, not federal, you still have a requirement because they do have responsibility to report to the government. Not, they are not just giving you the money and hey, bye. You have to report to them in order they can report to the government to show that what they're doing is good, and they're really selecting their um and nonprofits very well. They're not just randomly giving people money. So you need to be prepared so you can have better chance to get those funding, because competitive is there. Everyone wants funding. Doesn't mean everyone applying the right way, but you want to increase your chance. You want to have your bookkeeping, you want to have your budget set well, you want to have everything in your nonprofit documented, you want to have a good website, good social media, all of these things. Participate in getting funding, not only with the grant side, also for donors. Even if you're just like looking for donors, this is actually important, especially if you're looking for greater gifts, like you want a major gift, even with little, because competition is there. How are you going to differentiate yourself from other people who really not taking care of their online presence, their financials, their budgeting? How are you differentiating yourself from that? How are you getting ready for a hot quarter? Like Brittney said, like I asked her, I actually, what is hot quarter? What do you mean? So don't feel bad if you don't understand. I didn't understand what she means either, but it does make sense, right?
We're getting like and I'll explain it. So this is a term that I have been using since I opened the doors to my business. And the reason why and this is my differentiator, by the way, because if I say, "Oh, get ready for the first quarter round giving," everyone's saying that and you already know what that means. But hot quarter is just like, what does that mean? Like I'm curious to like find out more. So this is my differentiator. So with this topic being one that's always told, always talked about, this is a live of example of how I decided to be different. It's the same topic, but I'm putting a different name to it. So don't um don't like trap yourself in that mundane cycle of, okay, well, because everyone is saying this verbiage in this language, I need to say it. What makes sense to you? Here's how I'm able to become that differentiator, and I'm giving you guys a nugget. What are you doing now? Like how do you talk? what's your natural language that you talk. I'm not necessarily meaning like your native tongue, like if you're bilingual or you speak more than one language, but I am saying like, do you use a lot of slang when you talk? Or like, for example, I'm from the South, I'm in Texas. We say y'all for everything. Even if it's just one person, it's y'all. It's everybody. So that's like, if you're from the South and from Southern states, then you know that. But if you're from up north, you'll be like, what's y'all? Oh, they're saying you all. Okay, they're just smushing it together. That that's what, you guys get it. Like, I see the gears turning now. Like, y'all are like, oh, okay then. So what language do you use? Like, what is the natural way that you speak, and allow that to be your differentiator. Even if what you said is oversaturated, it's okay. Find a way to still be different, because although you might and somebody else might have like the same way that y'all are speaking, there's something different about the way that you're speaking that's going to grab the funder's attention, or that donor, or that's gonna make you more appealing to your audience. And I wanted to touch on this because you mentioned the IRS. Yeah, they know everything. so so don't try to lie on your for your grant applications, for your, like, your funding or whatever the case is. Like, they know, the IRS, the government, they know, even if it's non-federal giving, because like Nora mentioned, they must be reported to the government. So with that, don't lie, don't pad your numbers, don't say that you just opened your doors 2 weeks ago, but you already got $1 billion in funding. They will audit you and open an investigation to see where that money's coming from. So you don't want to do something like that. But it's the same thing as far as grants are. Whenever the funder is looking into, okay, well, who is speaking my language, who is doing this? Okay, I got at least, we have this system, and we're letting 100 people apply, but only 20 of those are going to be in like our top 20, and then we'll narrow it down to our top 5 or something like that. So if you want to be in that top 5, just think about although like homelessness, or individuals seeking homes, or individuals seeking shelter, that is oversaturated. Grant topic itself is oversaturated, but still, what makes you stand out? What makes you unique? And
And
don't mess with the IRS, y'all. Don't do it. It's not. Don't do it.
yeah, often the thing that you think actually it's your weakness, that might be your strength.
That's true. That's true.
Most of the time it is. So don't feel like, oh, I'm doing this and this is not what usually happens. And this is the weakness. No, actually, this might be your strength and might be your differentiator. And thank you, Joseph. He says, like, good information. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, so make sure you actually write down everything. Like what I do, for example, when I have a project in mind, so my brain like goes around the clock, like even if I'm driving, even if I whatever I'm doing, it information coming to me, like
All the
ideas
time.
have. So I, even if I only have my phone, like I would just write something on my phone just to remember. Because when you come and you want to write everything together, because yeah, you're gonna probably hire a grant writer, but you still want to be able to describe everything. Otherwise, like how can she know what you're doing? You have to tell her, right? So she's not gonna read uh from your face. You're gonna have to tell her exactly. You know the strength of your organization. You know why are you different. So you really need to be prepared. You need to be documenting everything. Have all your notes. Put everything together. Don't miss any information. Also, after the writing, you want to review to make sure like this is the way you meant it, because maybe like in the communication, maybe you did not explain it well. Maybe she got it a little bit wrong because she was working with someone else like who's doing this way, and you didn't really explain it to her in the way that she could understand it's different. So you want to verify everything. So you gotta work and you gotta have everything in writing. That goes with everything, for even if you're doing with financial stuff. So when we do our bookkeeping for our clients, or we were doing like more KPIs and stuff, we always have the client to review things, because maybe something went wrong, right? We won't be able to identify unless you have an eye on that. And it doesn't have to be you, actually, anyone from your team who's responsible for a certain thing. If you're working with, if you have staff and or board member or whoever responsible for the thing we are working on. So you want to make sure you are in charge. It's your image, it's your responsibility to achieve your goal. And you want to make sure you have all the components together in order to actually take advantage of this hot quarter. So yeah, like we're ready for your questions and everything, but until we get that, like I don't know, like if Brittany has more to say on that before we jump in to talk about virtual mastermind, available mastermind.
Yeah, and I wanted to say I did a video on this yesterday. I don't have it linked here, but the title is The Dangers of Contingency Pay Part 2. So, here's why I'm even mentioning this video, because I, as a grant specialist consultant, I get tired of this question or this thing, which is, well, when I ask if a potential client if they're budgeted, and they tell me, no, I don't have a budget, but I heard, not I know, not here's proof, but I heard I can just pay you out of grant funds because you get the whatever the funding is, you get it up front, and you're able to take off your percent off the top, and then that's like you give it to us when you get your percent or your cut. And I'm like, where do they do that at? Like, where is it?
Wonderland.
So
Uh,
I this is what prompted me to make this video, because like from the start to now I still get that question. And I'm mentioning part 2 because I go in depth. That video is like an hour long or close to it, where I go in depth of what the GPA or Grant Professional Association said, what grants.gov says, what the IRS says about like trying to get funds or allocate funds out of the grant to use it for another source. So that's what I mentioned. In the IRS, that has to be reported to them. So this is why we're saying, like, be honest, like just let them know if you're not getting that much, then you're not getting that much, and it's okay. At least now when they audit you, they if it's your first year and you're not making anything, or maybe it's your second year and you barely got past like 20,000 threshold, at least you're honest, because they know, the IRS knows, like, okay, they're doing what they need to do, they're taking time to grow, we did audit them and everything is lining up. So you don't want to be caught in that crossfire. I go in depth in that video, The Dangers of Contingency Pay Part 2. So it's on my YouTube right now if you guys want to check that out. But yes, I'm it within that video I'm mentioning why you shouldn't do it, and why it's like everything is reported to the IRS in the nonprofit space, in the grant writing space. So just be mindful of that.
yeah, and you guys, like I mentioned that previously, that IRS is auditing more nonprofits right now. They're selecting a lot of nonprofits to audit based on their 990. So when you file your 990, you can be actually targeted for audit just because of misinformation over there or missing information. And not only with the long one, even with the 990 N card that you file, sometimes you are selected to audit. So you want to be careful and do that with professional to make sure you have everything correct. And you want to be serious about your nonprofit and really work into growing it, not just like have it on the side and keep self-funding your organization forever. You're going to give up eventually. So make sure you don't do that. Make sure you actually plan well, avoid audits. Audit is not bad, but it's costly. It not bad if you're doing everything correct, but if you're doing something bad, something is not correct, something is not by the book, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to lose your organization, probably get to prison. You never know. It depends on where, what are you doing. So you want to make sure you actually get all the information correct, get everything done by the book, follow the law. Don't just listen to any other people who are actually running probably nonprofit organization, but they have no idea what the law says on anything. They just figuring out stuff and doing it because they
Very
think it should be done this way, but actually IRS thinks otherwise. For example, I've seen a lot of organizations saying, okay, who's willing to donate their services? We're gonna provide um, a letter so you can get actually tax deduction. This is a no,
what?
no. You cannot donate your services. You cannot
No.
donate your services. I mean, you can donate to be nice, but there's no benefit other than thank you and your gift from God. That's it. But in
Pretty
real
much.
life, nothing. In real life, if you're expecting a letter saying this is the value of your service, no, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. So you have to be careful. So don't listen to other people who are running nonprofits, but they're not don't know what they're doing. You need to really ask people who knows what's the rules are. And we're here for you. You can ask us. There's a lot of people also who knows what they're doing. If you trust them, also you can do that, but make sure you trust the right people, not just because they have a nonprofit and they've been like gathering some money, then no one cut them yet. That doesn't mean they're not gonna never gonna get cut. We all
Right.
think this is never gonna be me. No, this is I always get away with this. No, you cannot get away forever. You don't know.
Eventually, you will get caught. And
Yeah.
that's why I don't participate in contingency pay, because
Hmm.
if I'm doing that and I know better as a consultant, if I'm caught doing that, y'all, like, nonprofits don't only face jail time, but if I'm involved with that nonprofit, I could also face jail time and lose my business. So whatever y'all lose in the nonprofit arena, that's the same thing I would lose as a business owner. So this
Hmm.
is why I always say no. But I'm telling you guys, the IRS is on it, and it's not one of those things where you're like, oh, I can do this. I mean, I've been doing it for years and blah blah blah. Okay, but what happens when, because you're so confident that you haven't been caught before, that this is the year, this is the time that you will? And then some, you don't go to just regular jail or regular prison. It's federal prison. Like,
Hmm.
it's the top of the top. So if you ain't about that life, if that's not the life you want to live, or that's not what you want to do, if I were you, if you haven't been caught, thank God you haven't been caught. And this is your warning to stop doing it if you haven't been caught, and don't get involved in it if you've just recently heard about it. So, yeah. Anyway, we can we can talk
One more
about
point. One
oh,
more
one
point.
more
Since you said like you will never get caught, and you have to know that with the IRS, when there is a fraud, anything that is illegal is a fraud.
Mhm.
There's no statute of limitation. What does that mean? It means it doesn't matter like after a decade or 10 decade or like how many years they caught you, they're gonna
Mhm.
go back infinite, infinity. Like they're gonna go back until you were since you were born. So it doesn't matter. No statute of limitation there. So they can
Ooh,
go back as far as they want
at any
if there's a
time.
will. So no, it doesn't matter 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, no matter how long ago. So you want to avoid this at all costs. Now, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that because we're all 25 minutes in. So,
Ah, we wasn't trying to like
oh,
talk about this for so long, but we just wanted to make you sure that you guys were good. So,
uh-huh. Yes, and feel free to put your questions because we're going to talk about available money now,
for sure.
Mastermind. You all know that we
Mm.
did it in Texas, Houston, Texas, the first time. It was in person, it was great. But this time, because you requested, we're doing it virtually. So it's going to be October 10, 12, 13, 5
Uh,
p.m. to 7
no,
p.m. What?
no, it's October 10th, 11th, and 12th. You said 13th.
What did I say? I said 13. Sorry, not 13. 10, 11, 12. 10,
Yeah,
11,
there you
12.
go.
And it is on our website. It's on the link, a landing page that we have for you guys. So noorasbooks.com/ available money now. You get there. All the information is there. There's like a video for both of us talking a little bit, giving you a summary and a lot more details. There's frequently asked questions. There's everything that you need. You can join now, and then it will take you to a separate page where you can actually pay directly, or you can pay later. If you pay later, that's gonna ask you some questions, and then that you'll be able to finance. So you make payments every month, depends on what you agree on um, with the payments. So with the company, the financing company, because it's gonna be
Oh,
through a different company. So make sure you do that, and you can bring a guest. So that's all the information you need to registration, but we're gonna talk more about it. But this is just like, if you want to go ahead and do it now, go ahead, and this is what you do.
yeah.
Go ahead,
So
Brittany.
So the questions, frequently asked questions, it's on our landing page. Also in virtual available money now. Like this tidbit that I gave you guys for hot quarter. We talked about in previous videos um Giving Tuesday. We talked about year-end giving, and now we're talking about hot quarter. So this is how you increase your funding by 30%. For those of you who have been on our landing page, just like studying it, and you're like, what do I do? How do I do this at 30%? Or if you've been on me and Nora's respective pages, where our social media pages, platforms where we talk about it, this is a little snippet of how you increase your funding by 30%. And it's all in the way you prepare. It's all in preparation. What are you doing at the start to prepare yourself? So in the event, like Nora just mentioned, in the event you get audited, is it going to be a good audit, or is it going to be a not so good audit? And that would be, you are the determining factor for which audit you get. But
Mm-hmm.
we show you from the nonprofit side, and how to connect with your donors, what you need to do in that aspect for the nonprofit, and even for grant writing, how to strengthen those narratives. Because what I know is a lot of you guys, and this is not your fault, but a lot of you all who are writing grants, maybe because you don't have the budget, and it's okay, you don't have the budget for a consultant such as myself. You are, you're curious about it, you're trying to make a career out of it. You just, maybe you are self-funding and as a nonprofit leader, and you're also becoming the grant writer, grant consultant as well, just because you just don't have it to outsource. So these methods actually have you take a step back and think about it, with especially with the methods I'm going to be teaching you about it. Just taking a step back and reevaluating the way that you are looking at grants, doing grants, so you can achieve your funding goal much sooner than later. That, that is all I can say. I'm not guaranteeing funding, but I am saying with the methods that I use and the secrets I'm going to share in virtual available money now, you will surpass that threshold of not getting funded.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're gonna learn everything about like how you need to be setting up your organization, what you need to plan, just quick shortcuts that you need so you can catch this year and the first quarter as well. So you make sure you are in the next level for your organization. If you apply the strategies we're going to be teaching you, you're gonna get unstuck, you're gonna get increased your funding and actually know how to utilize the strategies.
Mm-hmm.
You get to ask us questions. You get actually workbooks from both of us, two different ones, and it's going to be 2 hours every day. We're going to be there until you guys get all your questions answered, and you're going to attend from your the comfort of your home or office, and you can have a guest with you. So when you have a guest, of course, you either can just bring them for free or you can split the price and you both attend. Or if you're a bigger organization, you want to train your staff, you can get two staff and one ticket. So it's gonna definitely actually make a lot of difference for your staff, so they can be more um, active and more effective in their jobs. So yeah, make sure to attend, make sure to actually get your tickets now because there would be a limit um, for the numbers. Once we reach that number, there was be no registration, so you want to make sure you register as soon as possible. You want to make sure you actually click that link now and get to available money now mastermind. You're not going to regret it. So we cannot wait to see you guys. If you have any question, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to comment under these videos and we will be happy to get back to you. So,
And I do have one more thing to say, and I keep forgetting to tell you guys this. You will, over the 3 days that you are with us, at the end of it, you do get a certificate for completing for spending those 3 days with us, and you get a badge that you can put on your social media just to say that you attended virtual available money now mastermind and how it worked out for you, because it will work out for you.
yes, if
So
you do,
I keep, although that's something I keep forgetting, you get the workbooks, you get me and Nora's undivided attention, you get your questions answered, and you get a chance to like work as you go in your workbook, as well as get your certificate whenever you complete the 3 days with us.
mm-hmm,
So
definitely.
so yeah, that's something that I believe is on our landing page, but I just haven't said it until now. So and that's my fault. But yeah, you get because we know that you guys are working hard, and so what better way to say thank you for your hard work that you're going to implement immediately by giving you a certificate and a badge.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. With that, we're going to leave you and go ahead and register now. Don't delay it because you don't want to forget about it. You want to put it in your schedule in order to get it done. Because if it's not in your schedule, it's not going to get done. You're going to forget about it. So go ahead and do it. Don't delay this action. Take action now if you want to see a difference in your nonprofits. If you think someone will benefit from this, please go ahead and send them the link, send them this video,
Mhm.
send them just the link. And we do appreciate, I'm sure they will appreciate it once they learn everything that we are actually going to share with you guys. We can't wait. We are so excited and have a great Friday. We'll see you later. See you
Oh
next
yeah.
time.
In Instagram, I'm gonna post all the links in the description